Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to Pdrag. Tonight at exactly 12:59 AM I'm going to be discussing Pdrag and going over its original map. We're going to be, as map designers today, or this evening, this morning, whatever the time may be, we're going to be putting this map together, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I made Pdrag a viable map for competitive. So as you can see, in its current state, it may not look that much different because the main highlights are still here. You still have the wonderful minefields, or the cabbage patches as I like to call them. You have the small minefields, you have the bridges that lead you to absolutely nowhere, and you have the health crates and the walls and the tanks. First things first, there are 4 tanks on this map, and there are lots of compact spaces for the spawn points, and that is because obviously this is looking to accommodate the maximum of 4 players for multiplayer. And the original devs kind of had this copy and paste system whereby they would set up sort of a quadrant that one team would have, and then that would be mirrored across the entire map, which is exactly what you can see here on Pdrag. So the first main problem are these gigantic walls, and yes, okay, they can provide your team with protection, but when your team is boxed in like this and there is nowhere to go, especially if this guy is taking his turn, you have to make your way around your teammates, around the wall, to then go ahead and do something. Bearing in mind as well that these tiles along here are not slippery, you can run across them as you normally would on Pdrag. It's a bit funky, but it leads you directly towards the tank, which is why in today's version of the competitive map for Pdrag, the tanks kind of stay in this position because it's a good spot for them. And well, we may as well start by deleting these first 2. That's right, we're going to be doing the actual recreation, I guess, of the competitive map, because that's kind of the best way to explain it and demonstrate it as we go along. And I guess that includes the additional health crates as well, which, by the way, are random. So next, my attention kind of turned to the space on the map, bearing in mind that a large percentage of it is the minefield. I figured that the sort of quadrant area around the walls is a good place to put the spawns, and then the center is kind of where you want to be drawn to in some way. But my quarrel here was the fact that obviously you can just run up these walls and get to this center area quite easily. So there needed to be some kind of obstruction that the player couldn't just run into that space and be free within it. You could have been, and we could have had, you know, a wall-less center portion, but then obviously players would have been it would have been a lot more easy to knock pigs into the mines from the center, and there wouldn't really be any protection from that. I did play around with it, but poly counts are a bit of an issue, so I kind of removed the first top layer, considering that I knew that I was going to be building a giant square around here using the same asset. So deleting this first layer removes a bit of protection from the spawns, but considering that I'm going to be filtering all of these pigs out, kind of reduces that a little bit. It makes it less warranted, I suppose, and that's across again all 4. So the walls are reduced by 1. You're protected by sniper fire and bullet fire, but any heavy weapons that come in is going to be a bit tricky. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the exact spawn placements, but I do remember that I tried to keep them as spread out as I could. So seeing as you have 2 quadrants that don't have a vehicle within them, it gives you a little bit more space to kind of spread guys out and, you know, not keep them so bunched up together. So then you end up with like a sort of a dodgy hexagon almost, kind of just that sort of shape in a way, but just utilizing as much space as you can and keeping in mind the vehicles that are on the map. So you have tanks, so by spreading them out, the entire team is now very much less likely to take damage all at the same time, whereas if you were to obviously approach a team of 5 pigs in this corner and say this tank is coming along, he's got an airburst, he just has to plonk it like right here, and that's instantly going to hit 3 of them, if not all of them, because, well, like I said, the placements here are not great. The next important part as well is that obviously keeping an eye on the symmetry between each quadrant as well. It's not going to be the same across the board, and again, because I can't remember exactly where I was placing pigs, we're just going to sort of not randomly place them around, but just try and spread them out equally, and also keeping in mind the environmental hazards as well, because you don't want a first turn to start and instantly end up in the minefield. And once again, just making sure that things aren't too crazy on the first turn, because if you're able to, say, run along here with your paratrooper and then, say, jetpack this guy twice so that he ends up very close to the mines, and then shoot a bazooka so he ends up in the mines, the player who obviously owns this pig isn't going to be too happy, because that first turn has cost them. Now, there are certain things that you can't really avoid on Pdrag, and that instance is partially one of them, because the minefields are inevitable, I guess, and paratroopers can be very strong here. I also wanted to build on the paratroopers as well in the center part. I mentioned previously that you know, I wanted to stop players from just running into the center, but then I needed something to be placed into the center that was both an incentive and a sort of valuable resource for each player. So before we get onto the context of that, let's start to build the wall around the center. Thankfully we have these pieces, which they're all the longest sort of wall asset in the game, which is pretty handy. There are different sizes and different types and stuff, but overall this one is thankfully the longest, so it doesn't mean I have to be editing multiple pieces all at once. We just need, I think, just about 2 of these, no, maybe 3 of these to spread across one side.
Charge of the Reds, charge of the Reds. What was this sweet time to get? This potato is for you. Say whatever. The racer. To the Reds. Look how much was it? I know. Tis sweet. Just I don't think I should take it, sir. What can I help? What was this sweet time to get? This potato is for you. Say whatever. The racer. To the Reds. Look how much was it? I know. Tis sweet. Just I don't think I should take it, sir.
See, I find Pdrag to be very lucky in the assets that it holds, because if it didn't have these things, obviously it wouldn't be possible, but you know, it's these components that make it something interesting. But then if we take a look quickly at a map like Air Raid, which I have tried countless times to make something from, because we have bridge pieces, we have shelters, and I believe we have pillboxes as well, and we have medical tents. So we roughly have the same kind of stuff that we find in Pdrag here, minus the building stuff. But Air Raid is kind of broken, because no matter what you do, the water, if a pig lands in said water, as you've probably seen in my crazy videos before, the pig will always explode. If you make any kind of contact with the water, you are dead. It's an instant kill, and there's no way to stop it, which basically makes Air Raid broken for me, and there's no way to fix it. But as a map, it is far too basic to do anything with, and it kind of makes me sad, but that's Air Raid for you. So yeah, it may seem crazy, but I'm thankful for these wall pieces, because without them, this map would not be what it is today. And I know that may be obvious, considering that you already have, you know, you have these pieces here, and this center wall is something that I built to do something else, but I don't know, I just wanted to add that little bit extra depth into it and try and make the player... I mean, I've mentioned this before in relation to health crates and weapon crates, but using that sort of game development idea of making the player sacrifice something in order to gain something along the way. And that is what you'll find in just a moment. Once we place this final piece of the wall, we can go ahead and place the medical tents in the center, and that is kind of the crown jewel of this map, essentially, because we don't have a single map. Oh, that's not straight, but you can just ignore the gap, it's fine. We do not have a single map in the entire game, in multiplayer I should say, that has any kind of medical tents. They are not used at all in multiplayer, which is another crazy thing, except for, ironically, Pdrag and Air Raid. We actually have both kind of tents here. We have both MASH tents and medical tents, but in the end I opted for just 2 of the MASH ones because they're, you know, usually the stronger ones that have that little bit more health, and of course I wanted to place 2 of them equal distance away so that they can't easily be destroyed by a single explosion or shot taken by the player. So with that in place, that is literally Pdrag. That is all I did. And you may be questioning, well, I have shelters. Why not put shelters in the middle? And that's a viable question as well, considering that shelters are another thing that are unused in multiplayer. But I went against shelters because they are not as valuable to you as a player. Especially, again, in competitive. Usually when a player goes to the center, they are either looking to heal through the medical tents, or the tanks have been destroyed. And I didn't know this, by the way. I didn't know it was intended to happen, but obviously if you destroy a tank, there will be a single crate that will drop in the center, and it will drop down a high explosive grenade. So yeah, just kind of a stroke of luck really that then corresponded with the wall and made the center part even more viable and even more sort of valuable, I guess, because you have both weapon crates and the ability to heal as well. So I guess in short, it's crazy what a wall can do for you. But yeah, we're going to jump into game now and actually finish the video, I guess, by just chilling out and playing the competitive version of Pdrag, because I'm not playing the old version, because the old version just sucks and I would probably beat it in like barely 5 minutes. So welcome everybody to the dead silence. I guess it's not going to be silent because I'm probably going to put music on in the background, but yeah, this is it. This is the competitive map that we all love, known as Pdrag. So the enemy starting with the paratrooper instantly jumping into the tank and goes for the air burst right onto my own paratrooper with a decent hit actually. 37 plus the splash damage. I'm going to start with my other guy and I'll leave him the health crate, and I shall go ahead and jump into the tank.
Not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble.
Thankfully, it didn't... Did it take any damage? I'm not sure. No, it didn't. That's fine. So just put some damage onto the medic. Again, not perfect with the initial explosion, but that's decent damage, I guess. I guess I'll just look for a casual body block. I gave the enemy exactly the same lineup, except they do have a single scout. But it won't be his turn until the very end. But this guy has no brain cells whatsoever, which means I can just collect everything at my leisure. But yeah, you can see obviously in the center, like I said, we have the 2 wonderful medical tents, which we'll be using later, I imagine. Or at least not, at least jumping in there to get ourselves some high explosive grenades, and that should be enough to get the kill. So, medic has been picked off, scout has been tranquilized, and I think we just need to deal with the tank now, and it should be plain sailing. Again, the AI is just a tad bit brain dead. He has a wall in front of him, but he cannot run. It is too much to deal with for his mental capacity. So I can now actually utilize this on the enemy tank, I think. Might as well. Just need to make sure I use these 20 seconds wisely. Don't think I'll have enough time to use all of them. If I can get a fair amount of damage on this, it should be okay. Actually, I'm going to plonk this onto the Grenadier. Just over the wall. No damage on anyone else. 39 as well. And I think the tank... How much did the tank take? He's down to 42. So I could probably just roll something, right? Roll a shrapnel. Maybe bounce one over there. See what happens. I mean, we basically had a free turn just then. So, why not? Yeah, okay. It didn't bounce. There was no bounces. And he just skips his go. So, the AI have given up on life. So I can just keep hitting this sapper, really. Oh, just over the wall. Yeah, I'll take the 17. Was not a good shot. A Grenadier. What are Grenadiers, man? Let's see if we can blast him towards the mines at least. If we can get a good sort of secondary position on him. That looks good to me. And in the mines. Yeah. Misses a turn. Now I can kind of group these guys together a little bit. I don't really know where I'm going with this, by the way. I'm just spitballing here. And I hit my own med. Nice. Okay, tank is on the move. Enemy tank has decided to play ball, but, I mean, look at the positioning. If he wants to go for my medic, he's going to have to deal some big damage, but that looks like it's on the paratrooper. On his face, a little bit of splash. A scratch one, a flat top. He go, boom. And good night. And all the shrapnel missed as well. Took the 40 to the face. And here goes Mr. Grenadier. Will he actually shoot something this time that isn't... No! Again with the rifle. I don't think he gets it. He doesn't get it. But my tank gets it. Here's a precious little tip for you. If you're trying to get through a wall and you're inside a tank, just jump out and you'll jump through the wall, because animations are funny things. And even better, you can jump back inside the tank at your leisure. Because, again, hitboxes are a bit funky. But in this case, we're going to throw this at the enemy paratrooper, because he's the closest guy to take this with the full 60. He's not dead yet, but he will be. Ooh. Snipe my paratrooper. No! So close. The muskie down to 43. I could give a heal. I've still got one more tranquilizer. But I need to, I guess, move my medic away. And... just tranquilize from a distance, right? Just tranquilize the Grenadier, makes sense. And then just hope that somebody hits them both. Oh, Kung Fu is down to 30 health, and he might even kill his own pig here. The absolute madman. Removes the tranquilizer, kills the pig for me. Scout goes flying. In fact, another benefit, if you park your tank right up against the wall, you can jump on top and then jump in this way. Isn't that fantastic? But also, it gives you a lovely view of the pigs on the horizon. So we're going to go ahead and throw yet another high explosive grenade right into their face and get the full 60 once more. In doing so, the paratrooper will perish from all existence, and all that will remain is the single scout, down to exactly 80 health. Not too much to take care of, and especially considering that I have 5 pigs left. Survival bonus for me. Major Grimley will be very happy with our accomplishments here, and our, I guess, demonstration of this competitive version of Pdrag. Hopefully the orderly makes it to the end of the game. He is down to 3 health, so if we can just, I guess, occupy the scout's brain for a little bit. I am no longer holding any jetpacks, and I have lost sight of the target. He's over here. Okay. So there is potential, I guess, for blasting him into oblivion. And not quite, but almost. So he now has 60 health, so another high explosive would be great. In fact, a rifle burst would be just perfect for this. No, you were meant to fall down. You are meant to slide, but he did not. I could just say screw it and use the TNT, but nah. We're just going to pile bodies on it because I want to finish in glory. I want to finish in style. And get that invisible survival bonus that does not exist. It does not exist in multiplayer, but it exists in my mind, and that's what counts, right? Please shoot the paratrooper! No, yes, the sapper man. He still has the full health. Still has the 110. Which means that it will be the paratrooper to finish things off. And leave him floating up there. Lovely. That doesn't... Why am I even... I don't know. Do I have any jetpacks? I do. I'm coming to save you! I have 14 seconds. Need to make it. I need to make it with the scoop. To win. For the victory! Screech! Yeah. Doesn't quite make it off the edge of the map. And he's still not dead? Wait, what? I thought that was enough. I thought he had enough. Where is he going? Dude! What is this repositioning, man? Absolute mad lad. Is he going to get the kill now? Is he going to shoot my... No. Okay. That's fine. Nobody dies today, and it will actually be the medic to finish things off. Would you believe it? There's the invisible crate, because... Why not? It's a million miles away, though, so I don't have any time to get it. So let's finish with a rifle burst. Slowly limp our way over. And with this, everybody, we say goodnight. And try not to make any videos at like 2 AM ever again. Because things get weird really fast. Good night, everyone.
You know